Yo, what's going on? Today I want to talk a little bit about clear coating your murals. This is a sort of a big part of, public art projects that you sometimes have to do because you have to think about the maintenance of that work. I do it for some of mine, not every work of mine do I clear coat because I have so many works. It's sort of, you have to think about the time, cost, and sort of resources to actually do that. But clear coating is super important to make sure that you have a protective film or a coat on top of the artwork that you put up, so that, if it gets damaged in some sort of way, say, someone painted, something on top of it, tagging it, or, it gets scuffed up, there's a way to sort of wash away that sort of artwork, that tag that got sort of put on top of it, or, it gets beaten up by the sun, there's a way to protect it so that the colors don't fade. So that is sort of what we're going to get into today. I do it for, like I said, I do it for a few of mine, not every one of mine, but it's something that I always think about. So let's get into it. So there's three different types of sort of characteristics to clear coat. The first is sort of the UV protection. So not all clear coat has UV protection. And UV protection is mainly for the outdoor murals. If your mural is sort of facing the sun, or the sun is hitting it all day, every day, sort of like you're in a place like Arizona or, Florida, where they get a lot of sun, versus someplace up north, your work is going to get beaten up and the colors may not last as long. So you have to sort of figure out, beforehand, working with fast colors that sort of are resistant to that, but also when you're adding a protective coating, making sure that the protective coating has a UV protection, so that when you're doing a mural and it's facing the sun a lot, that the mural is protected from those UV rays, so that the colors don't fade as much, because it would be, a shame to have a mural sort of fade, over the course of 5 to 10 years, sometimes even a year, if it gets hit by the sun a lot. So the second characteristic is the consistency of it. That sort of will determine whether you have to roll it on with rollers or whether you can sort of spray it on with a sprayer. Sometimes it's easier depending on the type of mural or the type of wall that you're sort of painting on. Sometimes when you have a really rough texture, it's really difficult to sort of roll on sort of the coating, but it's easier for a spray. And sometimes when you have a really flat surface, it's easy to do a roll-on surface or a roll-on sort of protective coating. And the third characteristic is whether the protective coating is sacrificial or is it non-sacrificial. So sacrificial coating is coating that you put on top of your artwork or mural outside, and it makes a sort of thin film on top. But if it gets damaged, if someone tags on top of it, you'll have to power wash it off, and the coating as well will be washed off. That means you have to put another coat on to protect it after you clean it. So that sort of will ensure that everything that was put on top of that coating is sort of washed away. The non-sacrificial coating is one that you put on top of the artwork and it stays even if you power wash it off. So think of it as like a glass. When you tag on top of it, you can easily power wash it off and that coating will stay, that glass will stay. So think of it as something that sort of never really comes off. The thinner it is, sometimes it does come off, but when you put on multiple coats, it definitely will stay on. It's a little harder to sort of wash away maybe a tag or something that sort of scuffed it on top, but you don't have to put another coat on once you sort of clean it up. Whereas the sort of sacrificial one, you'll have to put another coat on whenever something happens. So there are two clear coats that I use. The first is Vinyl Guard. Vinyl Guard is something that's super affordable. Comes in 5-gallon buckets or gallon buckets. Is easily available, so you're able to order it online in different places. Sometimes local paint shops will have it as well. So this one is one that you can sort of spray on, or you can actually roll it on. It has like a sort of milky consistency, like water, but it works really well. It's super affordable, so I use this a lot of times on murals that, I'm paying out of pocket to sort of paint, or just murals that I want to have fun with, and I want to make sure it's protected in some form of fashion. This does have UV sort of protection as well, so, my murals that get hit by the sun a lot, it is protected from the sun when I put this on. So So this one right here takes, you have to put on a couple of different coats, 3 to 4 different coats. Then it's super protected. But you don't really see a sheen on it as much as some of the other cheaper ones, and this one doesn't yellow at all. So I like using this one a lot. Like I said, this one is something that I sort of really recommend for a lot of artists just starting out. The second clear coat that I use on projects that I really want to protect, I don't want to have to always go back and sort of figure out how to clean it off, is this one by Sherwin-Williams. I think it's like a marine sort of layer sort of coating, and this one is really industrial. You get it at Sherwin-Williams, mainly their commercial industrial shop. Sometimes you can't get this at the regular Sherwin-Williams shop because it's a special sort of coating, and this coating works really well. It has like a sort of rubbery thick sort of finish, but it's super clear when you step back from it. You can't spray it on. This is one you have to roll on. So you have to have a roller to actually get to every sort of space that you're trying to get to sort of protect. But this does stretch out a lot. It's about $130 to $40 a gallon. So it is expensive. So this one, like I said, is one that I reserve for projects that I'm getting paid on by the client, so that I sort of build that into the budget. And lastly, one thing I want to share is the cleaning solution that I've been using. I just got this solution a couple of months ago, and it has been working really well. There's a lot of solutions in places like Home Depot and your local paint store, but there's sort of the commercial one where it's sort of really tough to sort of break up the paint that's on top of a mural or a tag. But this one right here, it works out really well. So this one is a very serious solution that you don't want to get it on your bare hands or in your eyes or anything like that. Just like the other one, this one really works out really well in terms of just breaking up the paint that's on top and allowing you to power wash it off or just scrub it off. So that's something I really wanted to share with you, to be another sort of cleaning solution that you get with the actual clear coat, because you kind of need both to actually protect the mural and clean it off and do maintenance whenever something does happen. So that is really what I wanted to talk to you about today. When you're doing work outside and you're sort of figuring out whether you should clear coat it or not, if you decide to do it, those are the solutions that I recommend. Those are the ones that I use. One's really affordable, one's kind of expensive, but it works out really well. And like I said, I usually do a lot of the murals that are in high trafficked areas, or murals that, the client sort of paid me for, so I want to make sure I build it into the budget, make sure it's protected, because you always have to think about maintenance whenever you're doing sort of a public art project, because if it's in the public eye, people will try to mess with it. So think about that, and hopefully I will see you next time. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification at the bottom so that you're notified when I do new videos. So I will see you next time. Peace.